Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving,
I don't wanna take advice from fools.
you always won every time you placed a bet.
Money, that's what I want.
And here it is, the world-famous tailgate party, and that's what I was worried about, having my Peter Brady moments. My allergies really been rough the past couple days, so hopefully I'll be able to get through this report with too many of my Peter Brady voice squeaking. I'm Joe Duffy, CEO of OffshoreInsiders.com, with your famed preseason primer, which I've been doing since the score phone days, going all the way back to the 1980s. Stevie Vincent's actually the hottest handicapper in the world. 8 straight winners, 4 straight sweeps. First perfect play of the season in preseason football. 2 level 5s in pro baseball. Perfect play is when there is an angle with at least 12 games, and it is hitting 100%. Of course, Stevie is 100% exclusive to OffshoreInsiders.com. Now we'll take a look at your preseason NFL odds. And of course, these odds are from mybookie.ag, which is one of the sports books that we thoroughly recommend at OffshoreInsiders.com. We'll take a look at the New York Jets and the New York Giants. As you can see, the line changing right in front of our eyes. Live line, the New York Jets are now 2.5 with a total of 41. Use the promo code Duffy when you sign up there. You'll get the biggest sign-up bonus in the industry. Well, you know, why don't we go? Let's see. We got things in our notes are in slightly different order. Where the first game we're going to look at is the Broncos and the Redskins, where the Redskins are 3 with a total of 43. But, you know, keep in mind right there, the juice is enormously important. And when you shop around for the best sports books, juice is very, very important. You know, we have some other sports books we like at OffshoreInsiders.com, but hell yeah, if you like, for example, like the favorite there, you definitely want to go at a sports book that's offering 105 odds rather than 110, 112. So when you're shopping around for lines, take into consideration the juice. And usually a half a point is worth about 9 cents. So that's why we always say never buy a half a point. The math just doesn't work out. But the Washington, of course, is very thin at running back. Darius Geis, Samaje Perine, Byron Marshall, they're all out. They'll be without tight end Jordan Reed and running back Chris Thompson. And this is no small ones. You know, Thompson sneaks under the radar, but he's got a 5.2 yards per carry average, and the often injured Reed, that's in his 2-year career, by the way. The often injured Reed has 275 career receptions, including 66 2 years ago. Broncos starters will play through at least the first half and possibly into the third quarter, as a lot of coaches like to do that halftime preparation, and that's why they like to play them in the third quarter, and it looks like that's going to be the case with Denver. Well, we talked about the Giants and the Jets odds changing right in front of our eyes. Starting running back Saquon Barkley is likely not going to play as a precaution for the New York Giants. Odell Beckham is also likely out for the New York Giants. New York starting quarterback Eli Manning is going to play behind an offensive line that's really struggled against Detroit. Jets, of course, have what a lot of gamblers love when it comes to betting preseason football. Very legitimate quarterback battle for number 1 with Teddy Bridgewater and their first rounder Sam Darnold. Remember, Josh McCown actually entered the postseason as kind of the favorite to be the starting quarterback on opening day, so he's still in the picture. So if you really love betting on teams with legitimate quarterback battles, then the Jets are certainly your team, to say the least. And by the way, we're doing this report a little bit early. It looks like most of our traffic is still coming on demand, but those of you who are watching live, feel free to say hi and tell us what you're watching us on, because we are simulcasting to several different platforms, you know, most notably YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. We have a couple, like a couple other foreign ones, OK something or other, and Aria. So we're very excited that we're also broadcasting to a major Russian site and another one in Europe. But just say hi if you happen to be watching us live at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. The Jets, as I said, their starters will play at least the first half. The Giants' starting defense may play 3 quarters. So this could be red-hot rookie Sam Darnold's biggest test. Darnold, the prize rookie for the Jets. Now, you know I'm not really a big fan of his, and I'm not going to, completely change my tune after 2 games in the preseason. We'll see what he does in his biggest test yet. He's completed 72.4% of his passes thus far. Redskins starting quarterback Alex Smith. He did make a token appearance last week. Played just 1 series, but he'll likely, of course, see a lot more action tonight. So he'll be in his new offense. And that's also, kind of a general theory, as we do like to remind you, that a lot of people do believe that there are, when a team has a new quarterback or a new system or whatnot, that they will go with a less vanilla offense. And yes, thank you, Bryant. You are watching us on YouTube, and we do appreciate it. I know you were joining us the other day, and I know we do have quite a few people watching us live on all the other platforms. So, feel free to say hi. And by the way, is anybody out there from some of the new states where we have no question about the legality of betting there? Delaware, my native state of New Jersey. Anybody there in Mississippi? How has finally, now that are out of the draconian age, how has that legal betting gone? So if anyone is from one of those states, say hi. And even if you're watching us on demand in the comments section, you can still leave comments there. Patriots and the Panthers. And Carolina is, now New England is a 1-point favorite with a total of 44.5. Patriots will play their starters into the third quarter with a new-look offense. The Panthers could be less vanilla than many teams are in the preseason. Tom Brady expected to start for the Patriots. And remember, Brady gets more playing time in the preseason than you would normally think that a franchise quarterback will. And he certainly did last week. Panthers, though, have scored 55 points in 2 games so far. Lions and the Buccaneers. And by the way, we'll join you at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow for our live simulcast. Lions and the Buccaneers with Jameis Winston out for the first 4 weeks because of his suspension. Tampa's number 1 quarterback will possibly play the entire second half. So he's going to be playing with the second unit because he's, of course, out for the first 4 weeks. Ryan Fitzpatrick expected to play with the first unit. So, Winston, Tampa Bay could do very well in the second half, and most of the sports books start with week 3. We'll have some live lines, so keep that in the consideration with all the approved sports books at offshoreinsiders.com. Lions, of course, are expected to be much more run-oriented this year, but they haven't established much of a running game. A lot of the beat writers think that they're really going to try to establish that running game tonight. So if you want to bet, maybe the first half under should be very run-oriented early. Although we'll see Jameis Winston against the backups. That could be a Tampa Bay second half. Some light rain is possible for the first 3 quarters. One of the few games where weather might be a factor, but just a little bit of a factor as that. Don't expect it to be a humongous factor by any stretch of the imagination. Seattle and the Vikings, despite playing their starters longer than expected last week, Seattle was outscored 14-6 in the first half. New quarterback Kirk Cousins will play the first half for Minnesota after going 3 of 8 last week for a mere 12 yards. And let me get this, I normally like to give at least 1 free pick, and I forgot to get a free pick ready, but that's okay. I'm actually going to give you a premium, one of my premium picks, but let me get it with the analysis. And unfortunately today, our Comcast has been so had some problems this morning. There we go. I will give you a free NFL pick in a moment. Packers and the Raiders. Packers are expected to play their offense much less than most teams do in week 3. In fact, Aaron Rodgers and most of the key starters are out. Raiders starters will play into the second quarter, but even that's not that long for week 3. Oakland went from -2 to -5.5. There you go. I'm having my Peter Brady with my allergies. But Oakland went from -2 to -5.5, and that's, not just based on sharp moves, but based on very specific intel. As we said, Green Bay not expected to play their key players all that much. And Sports with Scott, who looks like you were watching us on YouTube as well. Thoughts on the Raiders' first half, -1.5. Yeah, that's a very good point, because we are talking about that, and yeah, we definitely believe that Carr, he needs to learn the offense and could get some playing time. I would agree, Sports with Scott. I'm not a big half better, either live better or first half and whatnot. Once the handicapping was done, I'd like to just sit and kind of semi-relax and watch these games. But I would agree. I think Scott, as you can see there, brings up a tremendous point as to why you might want to consider the Raiders in the first half, because you're going to see most of the Raiders starters, especially going against the backups, the Packers' backups on offense. So there is no question that the Raiders will be playing a lot more of their starters in the first half, at least according to every single report. So Sports with Scott brings up a very good point. And that is why Oakland went from -2.5 to -5.5, the biggest line move of the day. And quite frankly, they made a liar out of me. I said more times than not, and historically this is true, that if you fade big steam moves, you would do well in the preseason. Hasn't been the case this year. Has not been the case this year. When lines move, and it's almost always, most of the line movements been because of intel that's come out. This team's going to rest more of their starters, but still, riding steam in the preseason has been profitable this year. It's not traditionally that profitable, but in the case with Sports with Scott, you would be riding that steam, but it has paid off pretty well this year. But yes, you make a very legitimate argument as to why the Rams in the first half would be a very good play. And if you want more information like this, look, I always say you should shop around in all the sports books. Every single sports book I use is at offshoreinsiders.com. So show your support. Click on any one of those links, and those sports books will continue to make this free information possible. And I did promise you a free pick. It's actually going to be one of my premium picks. Let's see, which one should we go with? How about Seattle and Minnesota under? We got road teams when they win consecutive games committing one or fewer turnovers have gone under 124-90, including 16-5 the last 3 years, 34-13 the last 5 years. And yes, any preseason systems we give you are based purely on preseason results. So that none of these, that we're not using any regular season systems in the preseason, and most definitely not vice versa, to say the least. But so the Seattle Minnesota under is an actual premium play, and we have 2, 4, 5 NFL bets and 2 Major League Baseball bets for tonight. Rare case of last couple days have been so-so at Joe Duffy's picks, but still in a historic run when you go back almost exactly 1 year. And I've been winning for 30 years, same name. I don't need to reinvent myself. When you're the best in the business, I've developed a great reputation in more than 30 years, and we're going to keep that reputation by keep winning. Still have a nice yearly package for the NFL and football. If you just want to bet football, we've got that available at offshoreinsiders.com. And like I said, all the best sports books in the world. And we'll join you tomorrow, Saturday at 11 a.m. when we do a preseason primer. And yeah, college football's here. We'll have some college football notes as well. And like I said, we're committed to doing this during the regular season every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want it more often, please give us likes, shares, use our sports books, use the handicappers at offshoreinsiders.com where you're going to win. And the sport, look, I respect the fact many of you like to handicap on your own, but any sports book we recommend at offshoreinsiders.com, you are going to get paid on time. You'll never have a complaint. Like I said, mybookie.ag has a specific promo code Duffy. And looks like, my allergies didn't get me too bad on this report, but we will talk to you again 11 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning, and we'll see you at offshoreinsiders.com. And thank you for those of you who have commented.